This is my student who is 76 years old and he rotates through the golf ball like one of the best players in the world. And what we're going to do here, I'm going to show you exactly how he does this. So we're going to go into a side-by-side comparison of my student and one of the best rotators in the world and see the similarities that they have in their golf swing, because we're going to extract these 4 key points that we can all do no matter age or athleticism. We're going to then get into a drill for each one of those, and then you're going to get the results like you can see here with one of my many students who we've achieved this awesome rotational move in the downswing. So guys, let's get straight into the analysis here of my student and one of the best rotators of the body in the downswing, and that is Cameron Young. So we're going to absolutely see some differences, especially as they start to move through the golf ball. But the main key principles to rotate, they both have in their swing. So this is where you can do this regardless of age or athleticism. So number one here, super important, and that is your club face being square. So we're stopping them at shaft parallel, and you can see how the club face angle's slightly towed down and relatively around, matching their spine angle. Brilliant. Okay, so we need the club face to be square to the arc, and why that is so the body won't slow down to manipulate the club face to square it going through the golf ball. So we're going to see them as they continue to get up to the top of the swing, their club face is going to stay very lovely and square. So with my student, we can see if we draw a line on the club face, a line on the forearm, very slightly close to the forearm line for my student there, which is one of the big reasons why he does turn so well. But if we have a look here at Cameron Young, we can see absolutely, if we draw a line for forearm and a line all the way for his club face angle, absolutely matching it perfectly. So that is point number one, and that is keeping the club face nice and square, because it enables the body just to continue to freely turn. We don't want it too open, we don't want it too closed, because that's going to cause us to jump stall to square that club face. So closed club face, that'll be the body standing up to raise the hands high, or with an open club face, that would be stalling, completely having the rotation stall to a halt to flip the face. Okay, so the second point here, a full backswing rotation, as full as a player can. So getting both these players up to the top of the swing, they have both got a fuller turn. So they've kept their body coiling up now, with Cameron Young with that very iconic pause at the top, kind of like Hideki Matsuyama. That's a great way for players to get a big full turn, because then they can isolate backswing from downswing. But this big coil up we're seeing here is really instrumental to be able to continue to move nicely in the downswing, encouraging good sequencing. That's really going to help the lower body work first, but it's going to give you space to be able to turn in the downswing. So you see with my student here, nice coiling, nice rotating, full turn up to the top. So both of them have had their back pocket here, so their right trouser pocket pulled back. So that's priming the hips again to move, something I talk about a lot on my channel, priming the hips to do this, move back, get deeper. It's going to give you space to turn. If we don't have any space as we move into the downswing, we won't rotate. So that is why it's so important to coil up in the backswing. Backswing rotation is almost more important than downswing rotation. Okay, so thirdly, let's look here. It's right in transition. Watch this. Shallowing the golf club. Okay, so shallowing the shaft, we're going to see both players have that club shaft laying down. So if I just draw, let's say, a line there for my student where the club shaft is at the top of the swing, and then where it is in transition, just before left arm parallel, we can see how much that club has laid down. And if we look for Cameron Young here, let's draw a line on his shaft right at the top of his swing, and then draw it again in transition, and you're going to see that club shaft has laid down really nicely. So what does shallowing do? Now, a lot of players think that shallowing just makes it hit from the inside. That's not true. It can do that. Players can shallow the golf club and hit it from out to in and fade the golf ball. So shallowing the golf club is just getting the center of mass of the golf club pitching back from where it was at the top of the backswing, which helps you get the club into a position where you can just keep that body turning, unwinding in good sequencing, and you're going to present nice optimal angles into the shot. So nothing will stall out your rotation faster than having a steep vertical shaft. So that's where a lot of players will be coming down in transition. If I use Cameron Young here for an example, let's get him up to the top. Let's draw that line again. And let's say, for example, he starts his downswing, and now this line I'm drawing here Is his shaft angle steepening, the center of mass moving in front of him? His body would have to stand up, slow down and flip to be able to shallow the club out later. So that's why if you shallow the club earlier, it's going to be the key to unlocking the door to rotation. So fourth key point, and that is rotational intent going through the golf ball. So that's where both of these players are going to look very different in their body movement going through the golf ball, but they're both still rotating. I mean, look at that level of hip rotation from my student here. He's got all the variables lined up, which is what we've been talking about here. These variables in the golf swing. But the intent here for my student is to turn hard going through the golf ball. Really get that body turning out the way with that body. And certainly here you can see with Cameron Young, you can see a big difference there is the amount of side bend. That is something that his second name really absolutely suggests. You have to be young to be able to have that amount of side bend. Where you can see from my student here, he does not have that amount of side bend. So that's where you can still rotate nicely without a great deal of it. So that's where that intent to turn. So that's where so many players are locked and loaded with a good square club face, good full turn, good shallow shaft, and they're not having their intent of turning really aggressive enough going through the golf ball, because of course they're told to swing smooth and within yourself all the time. But if you're fast here, that's only going to benefit you. But if you haven't experienced being very good from being fast and aggressive through the golf ball, that's because your swing is out of line. You might have one of these key points. It could be the club face is not square enough. It could be you're not getting a full turn. It could be your shaft is steep. If you get those points in and in your intent of turn is nice and aggressive, you're going to shallow it, or you're going to get through the golf ball absolutely brilliantly with your rotation. So before we move on to these 4 drills to target each key area, let's look at one of my other students here, because we're going to see some real key good improvements from the before and after from one of the big points we talked about today and how it really helps you to be able to turn. So this on the before, and all this is done completely remotely online via Skillist. So what we're going to see with the before video, club face looks lovely and square. As you can see, left-handed golfer. And up to the top, not quite a complete enough turn. You can see at the end there, because he hasn't completed his turn, lots of arm movement at the end of his swing. And you can see as he starts to move down, arms and hips move pretty much at the same time. So because he hasn't got that full turn, his sequencing is now a little bit off. We want the lower body to be leading, of course, in the downswing. And if we haven't got a full enough turn, what's going to happen? We're going to run out of room as we get into the ball. So what we're going to start to see, we're going to start to see the head is going to start to move back and away, kind of like in this crunched motion. And we're going to see the pelvis move towards the golf ball in effort to pull the hands more in. So you can see there, if you look between absolutely pelvis line and hips, you can see a gap has started to form, and you're going to see a big stalling movement with a flip going through the golf ball. So now when we look on that after, as he starts to move up towards the top, you're going to see a lot bigger of a turn. So same nice square club face. You're going to see hips really getting a good load. Now, the only thing we could do better here in this one is keep the hips that tiny bit more back. You can see a tiny gap has appeared between, obviously, him and the line, but much bigger turn. You can see that turn goes all the way out to top, no excessive arm movement. And then as he moves down, that lower body considerably with that lead side of his hip starts to sink back straight away. Again, that's because of his good full turn at the top. And then look at this. Lower body turning, really opening up down in the slot. See how the club shaft just shallows and then rotates while staying in posture. Again, like a top touring professional. And now he's playing all the way down to a 1 handicap. So extremely good golfer. Absolutely going to be scratched very, very soon. So this is how. Real results here. That's why you've got to get these 4 points into your golf swing. But that's where even if you just improve 1, like with the student here, 1 is all he really needs to improve, and that got him into a good spot. So let's get straight into the drills. So okay guys, first drill here for the club face. So you might be thinking, how comes we haven't seen you on camera today? It's all been a voiceover, and that's because I currently have an injured toe and cannot swing a golf club because of it. Amazing how the golf swing is. You injure one toe and you can't swing a golf club. Crazy. So still wants to get the content out for you guys. So here we are, and just hear my voice. So let's get straight into it. So first drill is Absolutely brilliant. It's called the ball rollback drill. So as you can see here, I have got a ball that is directly behind my club head. So what I'm doing here, I'm pushing the ball directly back. And what that's going to do, that's going to ensure that as I get into the takeaway position, my club face is now matching my spine angle. Because a lot of golfers who get, let's say, a little bit too open, a little bit too whippy inside, they would then push the ball way too much on the in. So we want to push that ball directly back. If we've got a nice standard grip, that's going to encourage a really nice takeaway, and that's going to encourage a nice rest of the golf swing. So get another ball and push it directly back. If you've got a standard grip, that's going to give you a nice square club face. Okay, next drill, hip turn drill. So this is a little video I recorded for my Instagram page years ago, but it's a drill I talk about a lot on my channel. As you can see, my old muddy cage net that I used to film videos in. So what we do, we get an alignment stick, put it through our belt loops, ton of the alignment stick coming out on the lead side, a little bit on the trail side there. So if we get a better hip turn, we're going to get a better shoulder turn as well. So it's the friendlier way for golfers to do it. So that's where we're getting the stick going halfway to the golf ball. Now, you can just about see it because this is obviously, of course, filmed from my perspective. You can actually see it, how my lead heel, comes up a little bit. So you see how it raises up a smidge? And that's a really important thing. That's something that my student was doing as well. So if you don't have the best flexibility, like myself, you might need to lift up your lead heel as you get the stick going halfway to the golf ball. That's going to give you a real nice, lovely amount of hip turn. And that's going to get you into a brilliant spot. So if we can get a stick through the belt loops, point it halfway to the golf ball at the top of the backswing, then you're going to be getting good full hip turn to give yourself space, to give yourself good start for good sequencing, to rotate in the downswing. Okay, the third drill now, this targets the shallowing of the golf club. This is one of my all-time favorite drills, full stop. Now this is where, when I had my old cage net, brilliant for this, but of course I don't have that anymore. I wouldn't have survived my move to Scotland. So, okay, so what you can see, if you can do this with a wall behind you as well, maybe with your club turned around so you're using the grip to slide down the wall, as you can see, sliding the club down the wall. If we're doing that whilst turning the body, and just leaving these arms and letting them feel nice, light and loose whilst you go and slide the club down the wall, turning the body. That's going to be a great drill to give you some amazing feedback. And feedback is what we need to be able to make a change. So the thing I like about this is, of course, then you implement it with the golf ball. You can see they're lovely shallowing, and boom, great rotation. So do your sliding the club down the wall to give you the feel of shallowing, and do lots and lots of it if you're a steep player, and then you're going to have so much easier of a time to rotate the body in a downswing. Okay, drill number 4 for the intent of rotating through the golf ball. So this drill is a drill I've talked a ton about on the channel, and this is called the preset rotation drill. So what we do, we get ourselves into an impact position, which is getting the hips as rotated as you can get them. Get the chest also rotated in relationship to the golf ball, open, you could call it. Right arm in this lovely bent structure, and weight is 90% on the left leg. Okay, so then what we do from here, we only swing halfway back and then spring back through. Okay, and you can see the quality of rotation that gets you going through the impact area, because when we start at that rotated position and then spring back and spring through from there, it's so much easier to get yourself through there. So this is where so many players who want more rotation, they'll just go and do this drill, and then they'll do it for a good couple of weeks and think, oh, I can't even rotate. How comes I can't do it with a golf ball in the way? One, they need more time. You know, you need to put a lot of time into learning to rotate in the downswing. But also, they haven't got their variables in the right spot. They might have a steep shaft. They might have an open club face. They might not be getting a full complete turn. There's loads of other reasons as well where there is a complete guide on Ultimate Guide to Rotation in the Downswing, which is in the video description. Most full course anywhere on the internet about how to rotate. Absolutely. And it's down there in the video description if you want to pick that up. Tons to learn on there. But this is to only be done when you know your variables are in a good spot, because I don't want you guys wasting your time. So that's where get these moves into your golf swing and then learn to rotate better via this drill, because the intent really gets you to rotate hard and fast through that golf ball. And that's how you're going to get better turn. So, okay, guys, that wraps up the video. So, just so you can see even more, this is, of course, my golf swing. Professional golfer who has cerebral palsy. So, again, someone on paper who should not be able to turn in the downswing. But do I get these key points? Yes, I do. Club face is nice and square. Full turn up to the top. Shallow shaft in transition. And my intent of rotation is certainly there. So that's where if my 76-year-old student can rotate like a top tour player, and if a professional golfer or just golfer in general who has cerebral palsy like myself can rotate like this through the golf ball, you can too. You've got to have the right pieces in your golf swing, and then once you do that, you're going to be well on your way to having tour level rotation. It is possible. Just got to have the variables in your swing. So if you like this video, click that like button. If you want more golf instruction just like this, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button too to be notified every time I put out a video. Hopefully by the next video upload, I will have a repaired foot or toe, and I can absolutely get on camera for you guys again.